They say the truth will set us free, but not until we identify the lies that hold us hostage. I'm Amy, your host for The Story in My Head, a raw, meandering, unscripted sharing of my thoughts or those of my guests, where we identify the stories, the messages that we tell ourselves that create these lies that we believe, that trap us in darkness and depression, anxiety, fear, negative thinking, self-sabotage, addiction, etc. This is my experiment of trying to rewrite the stories in my head, and I ask you to join me. I've heard that everything is work. Being fat is work, being skinny is work. Being single is work, being in a relationship is work. Being rich is work, being poor is work. And since everything is work, we're just supposed to pick our work. Just pick, because it's all hard. And I'm learning lately that things that are hard, if you look at them, as a whole, it's a mountain. It's just a mountain. And I live in the mountains, and I love to hike. And my hiking partner and I hike very, very differently. He likes to go from the bottom to the top in the most direct, straight, shortest distance manner. I myself like to go round and around and around in the most indirect, more comfortable, less hot and sweaty manner. The goal is the same. We end up in the same place. Our timing, our system, our method, our style is so very different. And we, as partners, have to figure out how to take those and work with them. Use them to complement one another so that we are actually hiking together, if you will, to end up at the goal. And some days we separate and end up at the same place at different times. Some days we stick together. I go straight up or he lollygags. It's different every day. So I think about hard work like a mountain. And I don't like it when people pressure me or judge my timing or my style or the route that I take to the top. So I try not to do that to others. I just know that I have in the past judged people for saying, I can't make it to the top of that mountain. I can't. And when I'm in a dark space, all of my stories start with, what if, oh gosh, what if? And all the messages that I tell myself start with, I can't. Can't. 4-letter word. I use a lot of 4-letter words, and I know that, they can be offensive to people. But today's not my day to work on that. Today, I'm going to work on the use of can't, the use of that word. Because if somebody asked me to fly them in an airplane, my response would be, okay, whatever. I can't. I don't have that skill. And I wouldn't judge the fact that I can't fly an airplane. I'm not a pilot. I don't judge that about myself at all. I don't have the skill to do it. So if I apply that same thinking to the other areas in which, quote unquote, I can't, remove the judgment and just remind myself I don't have the skill yet, that is a whole lot easier to swallow. I'm not able right now. I don't have the skills just yet. Man, that is so soft compared to I can't. It's just much more gentle. And I'm practicing being gentle with myself. So along those lines, I'm just going to remind myself I was born with no skill except for, eat, sleep, pee, poop, breathe. And look at all the skills I've already learned. And some of them I am ready to replace with different skills. So I'm going to replace I can't with I don't know how to do that yet. Or maybe I don't know how to do that and I really don't want to. Or man, I want to, but I don't know how yet. So I'm going to be open to learning a new skill. Learning a new skill requires practice. I've watched my children practice and learn all kinds of new skills, and, they do it in different timing. They do it in different ways, and it just is who they are. Let me allow myself the same grace to learn new skills in the way that I learn them, which is slow and steady and awkward and, ugly, messy. It's messy. Learning new things for me is messy. Healing is messy. I was speaking to my youngest son recently and telling him that I'm in this healing process and it's messy and I'm recording everything. And I shared with him that I had just really struggled with this concept, this belief that I had now adopted, that I am a failure in a lot of ways. And he texted me shortly after we got off the phone, just the simple little text, and it just said, "Failure is practice for success." 5 words. Failure is practice for success. That was the text from my youngest son. And I just felt so touched. I felt gifted. I felt proud. My ego kicked in, and I was like, I bet that's something that his mom has taught him. I bet I taught him that. And then I wanted to feed my ego, so I responded, "Oh, wow, man, thanks so much. That is such a blessing. Where did you learn that?" In this, in this manipulative way to feed my ego, I sent him that text for him to then respond, "Oh, Mom, I learned that from you." Instead, what I got was, "It was in my fortune cookie last night, and I thought of you." Huh. So my ego deflated, which was good. Probably back down to a more manageable position. I think about my ego like a balloon sometimes. I'll have to talk about that another time. Anyway, so my youngest son has reminded me that failure is practice for success. And I'm practicing learning new skills. And I remember when my oldest son, who's very academically gifted, straight up, he's, I don't even really know what he is, some kind of astro engineer, physicist. It's way out of my comprehension, to be honest. I'm super proud of him. And I'm having a great time watching him become who he is. It's really more impressive to me because I watched where he started. And sometimes we don't like to admit where we're starting from. I'm learning that admitting where I am and where I'm starting from really helps me to acknowledge and recognize and be so proud and pleased of where I'm going or where I have gotten to. So although it's sometimes painful for me to recognize my starting line, I now realize it's critically important for me to do that because then I can see the distance. I can see how far I have traveled up my mountain when I keep in mind where I started from. And my oldest son is now this rocket scientist, where he started from the first week of kindergarten. The school called me and said, "I need you to come in because we need to discuss your son." And I got there and they proceeded to tell me that he didn't know his address. He didn't know how to spell his name. He didn't know, all kinds of things he didn't know. And then the last thing on the list, after I'd kind of tuned them out, the last thing was he doesn't even know how to hold a pencil. And I was like, well, put a screwdriver in his hand and he'll be able to fix anything in the school. Because that's my son. But that doesn't necessarily work in kindergarten. It didn't quite, it was hard to take his skills and navigate kindergarten because his skills and kindergarten skills did not seem to match. Well, this continued to happen, first grade, second grade, fifth grade, this brilliant child on paper is showing reports that he can't read and he can't multiply and he can't this and he can't that and he can't blah, blah, blah. And so I took him to a tutor, and I'm like, I don't know why I can't do these things, but I feel like he should be able to do. I feel like he's smart enough to learn. So I think that I need help teaching him these new skills because I don't know how to teach him these skills. I need help teaching my son these skills. Because right now, his starting place is that he does not have the skills, and where the top of his mountain is to, for him to attain these skills. It is going to be really important for him to be able to read. So this tutor started working with him, and my then, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old son who, everybody else could read, he couldn't read. They are sending me home these books from the tutor that have like 4 pages and 6 words. And I'm like, what? And I learned a valuable lesson that day. She said, Amy, anytime you are needing to learn a new skill, you must first remind yourself that you are capable. So he has mastered this 6-word book. And I'd like him to practice this every day because today the skill is telling himself he is capable of learning a new skill. Holy shit. What? Today, my son is to practice feeling capable of learning a new skill, and then he will be open to learning a new skill. Well, if you've heard for years you can't read, you can't read, you can't read, you can't read, whether somebody's telling you these messages of you can't, or I'm telling them myself, I can't, or you're saying to yourself, you can't, when we hear we can't for a long time, we believe this story, this message that we can't, and then we start to think, well, maybe we can learn a new skill, but first, we must recognize that we are capable of learning a new skill, and we must first maybe practice feeling confident. So with my son, we started with, you're capable of learning something new. And we practiced that 4-page, 6-word book every day. And he lit up like a light bulb, and he would smile, and then he looked forward to doing it. And then like, oh, here's a new book. You want to try that? It's got 12 words. Well, hell yes, he did, because he felt confident. And he started learning a new skill, and now he's, I don't know what, a rocket scientist. So for today, I'm not going to tell myself I can't. I'm going to say, this is a mountain, and I'm going to cut a path to the top. I don't know how long it's going to take, but look at all the cool shit I'm going to see along the way. I'm going to learn a new skill. I'm going to be open to learning a new skill, and I've already learned a shit ton. Let me just remind myself I'm capable of learning new shit. Yeah, I'm capable. Anywho, I've been playing Jenga all week, pulling out a block, creating myself this Jenga game of all these little blocks, these little things that I can do every day, a little thing, one a day that I can do to care for myself, to be more gentle, more kind, more compassionate, more forgiving. Ooh, I'm not there yet. Let me not pretend. That one's tricky. So, imagine 2 Jenga games. I have 2 Jenga games, Jenga Squared. I've gotten a little fixated on this Jenga situation. All these little blocks, 4-sided blocks. I bought 2 cheap Jenga games. So the blocks don't even have the damn word Jenga on them, okay? 2 sets of block tower games, a red Sharpie, a black Sharpie. I take my black Sharpie with one game, and I have written all these things on each side of the block. All these things that I can do to better myself, to feel better physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Clean my house, change the sheets, drink some water, take a deep breath, stretch, download a yoga video. Even if I don't do it, just download it, keep it simple. Just one tiny little morsel, one chocolate chip morsel of a thing that I can do today that may be quick or free or easy just easy. I really like quick, free, and easy to help myself feel a little bit better. And once I start writing these things with my black Sharpie on each side of each block of my game, I realize how quickly I can come up with these things. And if it takes a minute, I can leave it and I can come back and just create this tower of things, of healthy, happy, easy things that take me towards the top of my mountain, these steps. And then Jenga 2 with my red Sharpie on each side of each block, these things that I don't like. Maybe a story that I've been told my whole life that was true when I was 12, but it's no longer true. Maybe it's a story I've told myself that reiterates my failures, something that reiterates my guilt, my shame, something I've done wrong in the past. I stick it on the side of a block. Something that a missed opportunity that what if I had done that? What if I had stayed married? What if I had not done this? What if I can fill up a lot of sides of blocks with my what ifs. Throw them on there. I have a tower of blocks that on every side in black Sharpie are things that are easy, something I can just quickly look at, grab out of the tower, look at one side. What can I do right now, just today? One little thing that's good and healthy and happy for me, just for me. In this other tower, covered in red Sharpie, of lies I've told myself, bullshit I've heard that I've believed, constructs with which I have built my day, my behaviors, the way I view the world or myself, that's just utter madness, just inapplicable, just dark, depressed, fearful, guilt-ridden. Ugh, it stinks. It's just stank. I have my smelly good tower and my stank tower. My Jenga Squared. And when I have a moment where I'm dark or I just don't know what to do or I just need a little pick-me-up, I'm going to go to my tower of smelly goods, my black tower, and pull out one block and look at one side of one block. And just right now, just for today, maybe just this once, this one little yay healthy thing. And I'm going to pull one block every day. And I might have to revisit it and look at it. Sometimes I'm just like, I like that block. That's cool. Stick it back in the hole. I'm going to pull another one. I will find a block that just makes me smile. Yep, that's my block. That's my happy block for today. Yes. And sometimes if that's just too damn much, it's just too much. No, I'm just obsessing over my my red. It's just too much. I'm obsessing over my red shit. I'm just obsessing in my head this what if, this stirred up cycle of yuck, darkness, sadness, fear, depression, addiction. These monkeys in my head, I call them the monkeys. My monkeys start slinging shit. You know, you go to the zoo, you like looking at the monkeys. They're fuzzy, they're cute, they'll suck their finger, they're kind of human-like. They're also a bit wild and unpredictable, and they sling shit. That's what I think about these thoughts in my head, this negative thinking, the stinking thinking in my head. They're like monkeys, they're running amok at the zoo, and sometimes they're so fucking loud and slinging so much shit, I just can't ignore them. I just can't. There's the word. I don't have the skill today. Sometimes there are times. There's my process. There are times I am not skilled enough to look at my tower of happiness. I am all up at the zoo with these here monkeys slinging shit. So I embrace this. I embrace this moment today, because I've been working on this Jenga thing, and today I'm in this I can't, and I'm working through. I do not yet have the skill. I don't yet have the skill to go to my happy Jenga game right now. So right now I'm in my zoo with my monkeys looking at my red Jenga game of all these things. And I noticed that if I keep pulling out all these blocks, yep, I failed at that. That's right. Oh, yep, let me remind myself of this bullshit. Yep. Oh, God, I told that lie. Oh, yeah, I hurt that person. Oh, my God, that was so embarrassing. Yeah, I can pull all these blocks and they just crumble down and it makes a loud noise and I fall apart and it's a mess and this is the darkness. This is where I'm at today. I'm going to embrace all these blocks because all these blocks make up part of me. They're my zoo. This is my zoo. And I don't have to go to the zoo every day. So now that my blocks are all over the place, I'm just going to leave them there. Like, I don't want to ignore them. I don't want to run from them. I don't want to deny them. There they are. All in a hot mess because I've been playing with them and they're everywhere. And I'm just going to be okay with that. Just today. And I'm not going to can't myself. I'm not going to can't today. Today, this is where I'm at. This is my skill level. I'm at the beginning of my mountain. I'm at the trailhead today. I have not yet started up my mountain, but yet I'm here. Shit. Yay for me. I am here. I'm at the trailhead, and I'm getting ready to go. And I guess technically I'm always going because we're always kind of moving in some kind of direction, right? So if I'm facing the trailhead, then I'm working on my path. I will. I am learning today. I am open to feeling confident to learn something new. This is my book. This is my child's book today. 4 pages, 6 words. I am open to learning new. I just wrote my children's book. I am open to learning new today. There are skills I don't yet have that I would like to have, and I am open to learning new. Join me. I truly appreciate you listening and being a part of my experiment. The healing process for me is messy, and I like to run experiments and try out new things before I commit to practicing new skills. And I want you to be a part of this with me. And I ask you to share my podcast with anybody else that you know like me, that's just open to being different because we're just tired of being where we are. Thanks.